Most people fail in crypto because they never change the way they think. I'm 19, I've already made $2.1 million trading crypto and meme coins, and the only reason I got here is because I've abandoned the mindset that 99% of traders can never escape. And the truth is, the way you're thinking right now might already be sabotaging you. If you're only chasing hype and every new coin out there, you're already dead in the water. The market isn't static, context shifts, narratives rotate, and liquidity moves. And if your mindset doesn't evolve with it, you'll get left behind. That's why in this video, I'm gonna break down the exact mindset change that flipped everything for me. The one shift that separates consistent winners from those who get chewed up and spat out. Let's get into it. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. These are just my personal opinions on the market. A lot of traders think way too one-dimensionally, right? They get obsessed with whatever's in front of them or whatever's being hyped up at the moment. And a good example of this is actually something I see sometimes in my comments. I'll break down markets, narratives, and how to actually stay alive in this space. And there's always this one person saying, Alex, I don't care whatever you're talking about, man. Just show us you trading on new pairs, right? And if you're thinking like this, I'm just gonna outright say that you will not make it in crypto and you should honestly just quit right now. This is a difficult space, and it's not for everyone. And if you are too lazy to even hear me out on how to handle yourself in it, you just straight up won't make it. And it's what I like to call isolated thinking, right? You're way too focused on one tactic or narrative without looking at the bigger picture. It's like looking at the forest for the trees when the entire forest is actually on fire. And if you haven't noticed, trading new pairs is absolutely terrible right now. I want you to look at this chart of on-chain volume on Solana. Do you see this? It's down almost 90%. Liquidity is so much tighter, and a lot of these new narratives are becoming very oversaturated. So sentiment around these new coins are just much lower than they were originally. So when you say, Alex, show us you live trading on new pairs, what you're really saying is show us how to waste 12 hours a day just bleeding money. I have a lot of footage of me trading new coins in my previous videos, and one thing you'll notice is that back then when I recorded them, trading these new coins was actually much more profitable. We are not in that same kind of market right now. But for my smarter viewers out there, which you're probably one of them if you've made it this far, you know you're here to learn how to become a better trader, right? Not sabotage yourself. So here's the problem. A lot of you are stuck in isolated thinking. You're so obsessed with this one tactic, this one play, this one narrative. And when that tactic dies, you just go ahead and die with it. And the reality is this market is not static. Context changes, narrative changes, sentiment changes. And the traders who actually go on to survive are the ones who are able to act with whatever's happening on the outside in mind. And it's the mindset that's allowed me to make calls like this $1.2 million profit on Icon, this 50K call on Pochita, so many more. And it's what I like to call thinking in context. And I'm going to break down exactly what that means. Thinking in context means zooming out, right? You need to realize that no trade exists in isolation. You need to look for whatever is going to give you an advantage at the trade you're looking at, right? Every decision you make, whether you buy, you sell, you hold, only makes sense when you look at the outside factors that surround it. And that is the mistake that so many traders make. They only focus on what's right in front of them, right? The chart, the hype, the green candles, but the edge is always going to be in identifying the context behind every single coin. When you look at a coin, you should never just be asking, is this a good coin, right? You should be asking, what are the outside factors that make this a trade with asymmetric upside? Because that's what you're really hunting for, right? Asymmetry. The coins with a good risk to reward ratio and the ones where you can see a lot of upside happening. The plays where the conditions around the coin, the market, the narrative, the people in it, and your positioning line up in a way that makes putting your money at risk worth the trouble, right? You need to condition your brain to always ask, what makes this trade asymmetric? What outside factors make this coin worth buying? And this is where my simple 3-step context checklist comes in. It's the filter I'm going to run before every single trade. So the first piece of context that I'm going to be looking at is the market, right? So what is the market environment? Bitcoin is stable or trending up, how much on-chain volume there is, how many new coins are migrating. For example, if it's a green day, Bitcoin is trending up, there's a lot of new coins migrating on Solana. It means there's an advantage in putting money into the market on higher risk new coins. If things are slow, coins are bleeding, then there's an advantage in putting my money into more established coins with stronger floors. I should be looking at coins with solid utility or stronger communities that are still holding up or trending up during this time. So market context is going to tell you whether it's even worth playing the game today. Now, the second thing is going to be narrative context. And yes, I see all the comments about me being Mr. Narrative. And if you've watched watch my videos, you should understand why I emphasize this point so much. So where are we in the current narrative cycle? And narratives follow actually a pretty simple curve. It goes from ignition to mania to exhaustion. Now, let me use the concept of internet capital markets, which is a pretty big buzzword on crypto now, to demonstrate this cycle. And if you don't know what that is, it's the idea of startups launching on-chain without the help of traditional institutions or venture capital. So the first stage, ignition, is going to be the initial hype of the narrative. It's when people are still in that discovery stage and figuring out if it's going to take over the timeline. So the ignition phase of internet capital markets would be the early days of Launchcoin. And the idea of Launchcoin is that creators could launch a digital product, have a coin tied to it, and collect 50% of all the transaction fees that were made on that coin. So they'd have this incentive to push the coin in order to receive funding for their digital product, and the coin would be tied some way into their digital product. The initial phase of that was when people were still speculating whether this could be a long-term concept or not. And now the mania phase would be when Launchcoin ripped to 300 million in just a couple days, and now you had developers from all across the world launching coins for whatever shitty products they made, and people even faking some digital products just because they knew people would still buy into them out of speculation. So during mania, everybody wants a piece of that narrative. And the exhaustion phase of this would be when we see so many other different launch pads coming out trying to play this concept of internet capital markets, and people realizing due to the extractive nature of crypto, this isn't really a concept that can work out. But that's all an example, right? My point is you want to find out where that coin's narrative is in this cycle. So where is the edge in buying through this narrative at this moment? If you're buying at the exhaustion phase when people are still figuring out, okay, this isn't really a narrative with a long-term future, or it's something that's way oversaturated or overdone, there's not really an advantage in buying there. So you need to figure out what that advantage is in buying into that narrative right now. Now, the third piece of context I need to be looking at is the personal context. So what does this trade actually mean for me? And this is where some people mess up, right? Even if the trade is objectively good, your sizing might make it a bad trade for you personally. And for that, I can honestly use Bitcoin itself as an example. So with all the news we've seen, all the institutions picking up crypto, and everything I always talk about in my other videos, it's pretty clear that Bitcoin is here to stay. It's going to be an asset that is going to trend up for a very long time. But just because it's going to likely trend up, it has a lot of stuff going for it. A lot of people watching this might not actually have enough size to lock up your money behind that move. If I only have $10,000, the risk to reward ratio of buying spot into Bitcoin, I can use that $10,000 into trading lower market cap coins and expect for a much bigger return than maybe a 10% gain in a year from now. So the idea of this is keeping your risk to reward aligned with whatever money you have. And that's the checklist. Just 3 questions, 3 filters. And if you run every single trade through this, you will immediately stop wasting time on lower quality setups. And you should be able to identify those asymmetric trades much more easily. Because remember, no trade exists in isolation. Every win, every loss, every decision, there is a bigger context behind it all. Because trading is a zero-sum market, and you need to be better than everyone else to make money in this game and figure out what exactly will give you that kind of advantage. Why are you better than everyone else for taking that trade? So where are we right now? Let's run it through that exact checklist that I just gave you. For market context, obviously, Solana on-chain volume is down over 90% from its peak. Liquidity is much tighter, and Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance is extremely clear right now. So that means capital isn't flowing into these new Solana meme coins that so many people want to focus on in this space. That market has become way more selective. Now for narrative context, going back to these new coins had their ignition moment months and months ago. Right now they're in exhaustion, right? They're oversaturated. Now for the narrative context. So right now, all the focus is in utility narratives, right? For both new coins and more established coins with higher market caps. But we are past that mania phase, right? That example I gave with internet capital markets, a lot of people are realizing besides some very select high quality coins, there's no real long-term use case for any of these cryptos. And through that Solana on-chain volume chart I gave you, a lot of people are done simply sitting in front of their screen for 12 hours a day, scalping or trading new pairs. So where does the opportunity come from right now? Liquidity in these newer coins are only going towards those with higher quality, coins with actual structure and actual solid narratives. Where is the advantage in this right now? It comes from simply processing information faster than the next guy. We're still seeing newer coins like Spark, AOL hitting multi-million market caps, so only coins with strong narratives and some kind of structure. And for all these coins, they all have public information that proves that they're a strong narrative. Like who's backing the coin. Everyone can see the same thing. So the asymmetric opportunity comes from whoever is able to process this information faster than the next guy and say, okay, this is asymmetric upside because the context lines up. Because this person who has a lot of influence is backing this coin. So we're still getting runners. It's just you can't be risk off and bid every single thing you see on the screen right now. So for personal context, if you're just starting out or you're trading very small size, this environment demands patience. Most of your time should actually be spent researching and honing your skills rather than actually trading. So right now, context says don't waste your time scalping every single new pair you see. That edge is dead for now. Instead, look for asymmetric upside on more quality utility narratives and where the market is ready to go next. If you're serious about fully changing the way you think about crypto, I've officially opened the Fortune Inner Circle, where me and other 7- and 8-figure traders will be providing the utmost help in the entire space of trading. We have students like Bayside, who at just 15 years old, we've scaled to almost a $500,000 portfolio. Or Tony, who was a student in debt in university and has recently just hit his first 10K month with us. If you're ready to take that step, click the first link in the description down below to apply and fast track your crypto journey to the top. Thanks for watching, and I hope you got a lot of value out of this. See you in the next one.